I'm here today with my son, Julian.
Nice to meet you.
I go by Jules with my friends, and I call him Jules, and together we are...
Jules Squared.
Thank you for coming on with me today.
Of course.
Would you like to introduce yourself and talk about your background and your current position?
Sure, yeah. My name is Julian Strickland. Julian is in Julie N. Her middle initial is N. I'm a software developer and programmer. I've been working at it for, 6 years officially, and I don't like to talk about when I was in high school because, what I wrote wasn't really worth talking about. But, when we're marketing ourselves, it'd be more honest to say that I have 18 years of experience. I've programmed everything from Python to Java to JavaScript to C to C# to MASM. So I've got a pretty diverse basis.
All self-taught, right?
All self-taught. Well, I've learned some formally in high school as well as from boot camps and online courses. MIT has a really good free series that you can just go watch right now on your phone or your tablet. You can follow along, and there's even some programming exercises you can do to learn some of the more complicated languages.
Excellent. And so having an engineer as a mother must have been interesting growing up. You like to tell the story of the science fair experiment that we completed together.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
All right, so whenever I was a kid, I had to do a science fair experiment for school. And a lot of the kids, they were doing the classic baking soda volcano. You put baking soda, you put vinegar, whoom, it makes a volcano. I wanted to do something a little bit crazier, something that would stand out, and also something that was more interesting. So I learned of this little concept called thermal shock. And what thermal shock is when you heat something up, the outside, the heat dissipates from outside to inside, generally speaking. So whenever the outside heats up at a different rate than the inside does, the two separates, delamination occurs. Long story short, little me saw that I could make things go boom whenever I put a fire under them. And so I asked her, "Hey Mom, can I have some of the plates?" And she was like, what does how old was I? What does a 10-year-old need silverware and plates and crockery for? And I was like, well, I want to do a science fair experiment. And she was like, but you're going to borrow these? And I was like, well, a more permanent sort of borrowing. And long story short, I had to explain to her, okay, I want to see some explosions. And then she was like, no, you can't say it like that. I was like, okay, fine. I want to do an experiment about the material properties of ceramics under stress. And she was like, there we go. And she let me have some of her plates, and we put them on the burner, and they exploded, and we put them in the microwave, we covered our ears, and nothing happened. And we're like, okay, well, let's freeze them. And they got them really cold, and then we put them in the microwave, then we covered our ears, and then they exploded, and it was so much fun. So
yeah, the way I remember it, we put one of the plates on the burner, and we watched as it heated up, and then it went crack. So folks, if you try this at home and that's the results that you get, just know that the 10-year-old saw it as a lot more exciting than...
There were fireworks when it happened in my mind.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I even got out my college textbooks and researched how it was separating over grain boundaries and photocopied some of those pages to put in the report for the science fair. We didn't win that year, but that's okay. We had some fun, and it was a bonding moment.
Lack of bonding moment, unbonding.
Okay, yeah, as you say. So now, in our adulthood, we're getting to work on another project together. I have a workshop called Moon Mission, where the participants are in mission control, and we actually have 2 people in the back room as astronauts. They are in the lunar lander going to the lunar surface. And I have had this whole planned out, the whole workshop planned out, and I explained to you how at certain times people would open event cards and certain things would happen. And you looked at me, and what did you tell me?
I have no idea. What did I tell you?
Something to the effect of, why are you doing it that way when they can just get a text on their phone?
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. It takes it to the next level. How much is that going to cost me? And when can you get that program done? The answer was not, oh, that's easy, Mom. I'll get it to you tomorrow. It was more like, well, there are different phases and it'll be done in a few months, which was the correct answer, which is the way that projects go in real life. But it was disappointing. So we started down the path of texting because I thought we decided it would be awesome if the participants didn't have to do much. They could just sign in with their name, phone number, and which role they were going to play in this exercise. And then they would get regular text messages. So how did you
throughout the course of the workshop? Yeah. To be clear, it wouldn't continue to message them after it was over.
Right.
The big intent with having them sign up for text messages is that they wouldn't have to make an account. They wouldn't have to connect to a website. It was all over something that they were totally familiar with.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of legal requirements for doing anything over text message. Turns out you have to sign up for something called a campaign, which I don't know why they call it a campaign. It's not a registry. It's not a list. It's not a service. It's a campaign. And once you've signed up for a campaign, you have to wait for that to go through. You have to give them a tax number, I believe, an EIN.
Yes. Twilio would not accept my social security number as a sole proprietorship. I had to sign up as a legal entity with the IRS, with the federal government, and receive an EIN, which is basically a social security number for a business. And so being the innovators that we are, we were thinking not only would we create this program for the workshop, there are other workshops we could do with this system, and we could even potentially put it on an app store one day. However, if we have to sign up for campaigns and give out EINs and assure the federal government that we are not going to spam people with text messages, I thought maybe this isn't the best approach. Maybe we should have an app. And so an app has certain pros and cons too. Speak to some of those, please.
Sure. So either way, it would be an app. In this case, the approach that we elected to go for whenever we pivoted and redid our approach, it's a peer-to-peer service, which means that my phone would connect to her phone directly over the internet instead of over SMS, which is what text messages are, essentially. And because of that, now it's a two-way thing. Instead of she has their phone numbers and it sends out the SMSs and that's it. No one else needs to give any more information. Now there needs to be a constant connection, including a DHCP lease. There needs to be DNS.
We don't need to get into all of that.
All of that. All right. So anyways, there's a whole new set of challenges. Luckily, none of those challenges, in this case, require us to sit on our hands and wait for someone in Washington to give us the okay, because we finally got our EIN, put in the right way on the website at the right time for the right people.
And in the future, I don't have to worry about putting this app on the App Store and someone else using that for evil, for spamming people over text message. So this app would just be for players who sign up for that particular workshop.
Yeah, and although it's going to be a lot more involved, it's going to be more expensive to develop, the addition of client apps means that we can put a lot more cool stuff in it as well.
Absolutely.
So a lot more. Absolutely. You got me cracking up. So yeah, a lot more spinny doohickeys and user feedback. Everyone loves whenever they're playing a game to see those bright flashing lights. So
yes.
Yeah, it's one of the things that draws them to the purchase. So there's a lot more marketability with the direction that we've taken, and the price to switch over, it just makes sense, honestly.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to sharing all the new features that I plan on putting in Moon Mission once we get to that point and we're able to roll this out. So stay tuned for that. Well, Jules, anything else you'd like to talk about as far as Strawberry Innovation goes?
Well, the workshops, they've been super fun. For those who don't know, it's run like a tabletop session. So she, as the game master, she'll hand out the cards, and if she sees that things are going a little slow, she'll speed it up, and she'll guide people along, and she can be there to give them that one-on-one guidance, like, hey, I'm the Pam. What's a Pam?
That is a public affairs manager who is responsible for issuing press releases.
And because of that, unlike in a traditional game or app, we don't have the issue of players not knowing how to play because we have someone right there teaching them. I really like that workshop format, and I think it has been to our advantage to do it the way that you did.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, I like that there's 10 players max, and so it's a small group. And like you said, I can give that one-on-one feedback. And all the participants have said that they've learned something about their teaming style and or their leadership style, and that they had fun. So I had an interview with Lalita earlier, and she played one of the astronauts at one of the workshops. And it was a joy to be able to share that with one of my best friends and for her to have fun doing it.
Yeah. And to learn while you do so. Learning is a lot better when it's fun.
Absolutely, 100%. And one of the, several of the participants aren't familiar with the space industry, so they didn't know what went on in mission control. And that's okay. These workshops do not require a certain level of knowledge of the space industry before playing them. You learn as you go, and that was another level of fun. So learning and having fun and developing teaming and leadership styles, that's what the workshops are all about. So thank you for helping me with that. And thank you for helping me develop the program to make it even more valuable to the participants.
Thank you for including me. It's been a fun experience, and I've gotten to learn a lot, like networking and SMS capabilities.
Call now. The 1-800 number will be at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Jules. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.